Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of one band. Yes, we're going to talk about one band on this. And if you have never listened to this before, if you're not familiar with who the Dave Matthews Band is, you're going to learn a lot about them in just this one episode. So the Space Between Podcast focuses on the fans of the Dave Matthews Band and all of the different journeys of their fans. Whether you have just found them in 2020, or if you found them in 1991, all of us found them in a very different way, and our musical journey with them looks very different. So each episode, I have a fan of the Dave Matthews Band come on the show to tell us their experience with the music. So this episode is like every episode, I have a guest on the show. So tell us who you are, where do you live, and just tell us something about you.
Thank you. So I am Jennie Stipe. I currently live in Holly Springs, North Carolina. So tiny-ish little town south of Raleigh.
Yeah.
And very, very cute little town. Lots of trees, gardens. I've got some bunnies. Trying to learn how to garden. Getting some chickens soon.
You're trying to learn how to garden?
Trying to learn, yes. I'm good at like some of it, and then not so good at the other part of it. So I'm trying to kind of get into the whole.
How are you doing it? Because like I want that, but like how do you begin that journey to like I'm going to plant stuff?
The whole thing. So because I want like a cute garden, right? Like I want when you're on Instagram or whatever and you see like these cute little gardens with lights and like fairies and all of that.
Yes.
And I kind of right now I'm focused on a lot of flower, like perennial flowers. So flowers that you only have to plant once, and then every year they kind of keep multiplying and coming back and becoming like a big, luscious, beautiful garden.
Yeah.
And then as far as veggies, I kind of just choose what I know I'm going to use because there's so many. So I've got 3 kids and I'm thinking, okay, they're going to pick strawberries and raspberries and blackberries off of the bush and eat them. I'm cool with growing those, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that I can make salsa with, stuff that I can make, I guess, spaghetti sauce, so like a lot of tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, you just chop it up and eat it. So stuff that I feel like is kind of easy and that you can do a lot with is what I'm starting with. But it takes a couple of years because you have to like really plan out where you're going to plant these things. And certain plants can't be next to other plants. Then you have all kinds of weird like insects and diseases and weird things that come up. But it's going well-ish right now. So, I think last year, like I grew green beans, pumpkins, like there was a lot of stuff that ended up growing really well, but like my peppers didn't grow well. And so it's weird. It's a whole.
You're learning though.
I'm learning.
You're figuring it out. And think by year 5, you'll probably have that beautiful garden.
I think so too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love gardening. I mean, I love to watch other people do it. Like I said, I don't have any experience. My husband and I, we like to do tomato plants just because we really believe like that tomatoes from the vine taste completely different than tomatoes bought at a store. And so if we can have those in our backyard, we'll eat tomatoes every day. I mean, I'll take a tomato off the vine and eat it as is, but they're good in everything and they really just taste better. So I love a good gardener.
Like frozen. They're not like injected with things,
Exactly.
I'm super like paranoid about all the food stuff. And so I'm like, okay, it's gonna come from my own backyard and it's gonna be super healthy. And then I own a business. So I actually we're going into year 5 right now. I own a business. It's called Sensible Services. It is a medical billing business. I started this company randomly. I had just had 3 babies in 3 years. I was a stay-at-home mom, and we were all stuck from being home during COVID.
Yeah.
And I was just struggling a lot. Like I was so overwhelmed, and my brain, just mom brain, and had some postpartum depression stuff going on. And I had a friend who was like, "Hey, you should help me out. This company I started, I need somebody to help me with these claim submissions." And I know nothing about that world, right?
Yeah.
My degree is in business and communication. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally help, like just a couple hours a week to get my brain in some sort of like consistent rhythm. Cause when you've got 3 babies, you're all over the place.
Yes.
And I ended up kind of hating the billing companies that were working with us. So I was like, you know what? I should start my own. Like, we could totally offer a more unique type of billing company, or like an extension of these mental health providers teams, and like people who really care about getting these providers paid and offer a lot of transparency. And
Yeah.
so I opened this company, and I now have 28 staff
Wow.
and like clients all over the US. And it's amazing. I mean, it's turned into this like awesome thing. Like, people work
Oh
for
my
me
God.
who came from really toxic work environments, or just felt like it was a grind. And now we just have
Yeah.
this whole team, and we have all these providers that we're helping kind of fight the system, making sure that people are getting paid what they deserve. And it's actually turned out, it was not planned at all. I just literally was like, I'll just try this. And just got certified from the WBENC, which is like the women's business. Like, they basically give you a certification, and you're a women small business like certified. So it's been really cool. Like, it's been
Oh,
a
look
lot of
at you
fun.
taking a leap of faith and doing something that
Yeah.
you just were like, I think I can do this better. And you could.
And I
You
did,
did. You
yeah, yeah.
are.
And it's turned into this like, I mean, my husband jokes because I'm kind of like a whack job. Like, I'm all over the place. I'm very scattered. I've got 3 kids. I like homeschool them. I'm kind of wild, right? Going to Dave Matthews shows like every other day. And he's like, what, you're responsible for like 28 people's like living, like expenses, like how, because it's just not my personality. I'm like, I don't
Right.
know, it's just working, it's going really well. And I've got like great accountant and people like that. But yeah, it's been kind of cool to go, my strengths were always in communication, and so using that in a place where it's hard for people to get what
Mm.
they need and kind of help be that advocate has been really cool. Run a business, homeschooling, gardening. I'm a little tired.
And medical billing. I mean, what can you not do? That might be a short,
I
I mean,
know, but it's like one
wow.
thing, like
You
a
can
lot of
do it
tab,
all. You
a lot
can
of
do
tab.
anything you put your mind to. And I'm like down with telling my daughter that, like, never have someone tell you what you can do. You can do
Yes,
whatever you put your
yes.
mind to.
I totally, yes, that is so, so true. I never fit into like the box in in school when I was growing up. Growing up, it was like, if you're an entrepreneur, that's super risky. Probably shouldn't do that. Probably should go to the 4-year university, play it safe, all of that. And I did that. And then I had my babies, and I was like, well, I don't want to leave them. I want to be with them. I want to actually like snuggle them and have paint thrown in my face, and, have a super break up fights all day long. And so it's interesting because I'm totally going against the grain of like what I was taught growing up, which was, stay on this course, play it safe. And it's been really empowering to go, no, actually, like, you can kind of just really tune into who you are and then bring that into the world around you. You don't
Yeah.
have to like do anything that anybody else tells you to do. So it's been
Right.
really
And I believe that sometimes we get degrees that may not be what we do our whole lives, but man, they really helped out. And so I think that obviously with your focus being in communications,
yeah,
that's something that is very flexible and needed in every industry of all
every industry.
kinds. So I think that's a wonderful degree. I mean, just very
Yeah,
broad, and it's really helped you connect with people, and that's why it's doing really well.
yeah.
So congratulations, Mama. That's a
Thank
big
you.
deal. I
Thank
mean,
you.
so tell us about your family. You got 3 kids.
3 kids. So
What does
I've
your
got
family look like?
um, 2 boys and a girl. So it's very wild in my house. A lot of wrestling, a lot of running around and jumping on furniture, all of
Yeah.
that. They are now 8, 9, and my little one is a girl, and she's about to turn 6. So I homeschool them. That being said, we're not at home a lot. We're kind of out doing classes, in the community, different math, writing classes, a lot of sports, a lot of field trips, just kind of, one of my sons is obsessed with building Legos. And so he'll make these scenes and then get on and try to make like a YouTube channel where he's teaching people how to build the Legos. And my other one's like a reader, like a little bookworm. So he'll be at the beach, but like head in a book, so
How good is
cool
that?
kind of, yeah, it's cool. Just like what their strengths are, going, okay, let's really let you shine in that and love learning.
Yeah.
And not look at it like it's so much pressure and so much of a chore. So that's been a really cool experience. Not planned. Again, none of this has been planned or was thought out before. Literally, like 2020, I just decided to take some risks. So
yeah.
yeah,
And look,
they're a great family.
I mean, take these chances, right?
Yes, take these chances.
You did, and it worked out. I mean,
I love that.
Yes. So the question is, when in the world and where in the world did you ever hear of this band? I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Have you ever heard
Let
of
me
the
think
Dave
here.
Matthews Band?
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of them like once or twice. I think like half my wardrobe is literally Dave Matthews. So gosh, I was living in Arizona. It was in maybe not high school yet, maybe junior high. That whole time was kind of foggy.
Yeah.
I remember that there was this boy who was new, and he was like obsessed with this band, right? And you remember like back in the 90s, everybody had this certain band that they were obsessed in. It could have been Dave Matthews Band, it could have been like Third Eye Blind, like who knows, right? But I remember he would like carry these little CD cases around and like be reading the little pamphlets. And I just thought he was cute, honestly. So I was like, who's that band? Like, what are you looking at? And it was a Dave Matthews Band. So of course I had to go home, get a Dave Matthews Band CD, check it out, learn the lyrics, because maybe he would like me if I knew the lyrics, That was literally kind of how it all started. And it was the Under a Table and Dreaming album.
Awesome.
So it had to have been, it was definitely after 94. It had to have been, it was somewhere around there. It might have been like 11 or 12, something like that. And so I just remember like I put it in the CD player and had the little pamphlet reading along the words, and I immediately fell in love. I mean, it was literally like
what was it?
Satellite was my thing, like back in the day, right? That was the song where it really was like, wow, there was something about it. And I think it's interesting because people ask me this and I'm like, I don't know. It's like the lyrics mean so much and they also don't mean anything at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's such like a way for anyone, literally anywhere, to interpret the meaning of that song.
Yes.
The way that it means something to them in that moment. It was something about just the way that the music was flowing. It was his voice. It was like raw, and it just felt real. And it just felt like, it first of all was like completely stuck in my head after that. But I just remember kind of going, this is like, wow, like, a couple hours just went by in my room and I've been reading these lyrics and listening to this music. And I just felt kind of something turn on inside of me that I don't think music really had done before that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm like trying to impress this boy, like, hey, I know like Satellite, I know all the words, He didn't care ever. It didn't matter. He actually thought I was a major nerd. He's like, no, I'm a real Dave Matthews fan. You're like a lame Dave Matthews fan. Like, I've known Dave for like 3 years, because there's all that competition that goes on, in middle school. So, but through that, I ended up kind of finding, I think, my people really early on that also liked the Dave Matthews Band. And so in a time in my life that I was kind of lost, like in middle school, it was something to instantly relate to people with. It's weird because it's very cultish. Like it's very
it is. Yeah.
like if you get it, you get it.
Right.
And so there was this kind of group of people in my school who were into the Dave Matthews Band and a couple other bands. But I kind of was like, okay, I feel like kind of good around these people. I like talking about this stuff with them. I like searching for bootlegs and trying to find like certain album and, tape recording these VHS like interviews of Dave, watching all the watching all those interviews and kind of putting everything, you remember like the VHS, and we would like
Yes.
kind of just like edit these tapes and make them into like one long, really cool tape. I mean, we used to do that. So this kind of became like a hobby with me and some
So how did
people.
you find, back up just a little bit, how did
Okay.
you find out? Because, yeah, the early Dave Matthews Band days, there was a lot of tape trading, and they still to this day allow fans to record at their concerts. But like, how did you find out that there was bootleg stuff? Like,
Like
how
this
did
like
that come up?
underground thing. Yeah, because I was really young. I mean, I'm thinking now I'm like 42, and I'm going, how was I? What did I get myself into? I
Exactly.
don't know. I don't know. It just became a thing. Like I remember like I went on this church retreat, and I wasn't brought up very religious, right? But my mom was like, "You're a troubled child and you like need to go on a church retreat." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I remember like staying up until like 3 in the morning in a room with these guys playing the guitar, playing the Dave Matthews Band. It was like just
Wow.
one of those memories where I was like, I didn't get anything like really spiritual out of that, like in terms of religion, but I stayed up till 3 in the morning connecting with people, and they're just playing the Dave Matthews Band, and we're all kind of hanging out. We were definitely like not sober, kind of sneaking around. Like this was an awesome. I mean, we were like taking acid. Like it was a bad. But see, like my story involves a lot of that stuff too. Like there was definitely a lot of like I was not in a good place, but I felt a certain safety when I was around somebody who liked the Dave Matthews Band, and I still do. Like I can go to a concert anywhere alone and feel safe. And I just think that that's so interesting that that's kind of stuck with me the whole time. Like
Yeah, and how do you explain that to other people?
you
Because
can't,
you
you
c
can't.
you
Yeah, I don't
sound
know how I got
crazy.
into it. I know it was a trend. I know there was, yeah, a lot of tape trading, a lot of like secret bootlegs were coming out. I think I just instantly got into it really hard. And it was at
Yeah.
a time in my life where I felt very unsure of my place here. I had a lot of family stuff going on just from a very young age, and I encountered a lot of bullying in school from a very young age. So there was a lot of like developmentally, I think I was really lost. Like I just felt like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what type of people were safe to be around. I'd seen a lot of really bad stuff by the time I was in middle school. I feel like the first time I listened to that album, brought out some sort of it gave me some sort of outlet, and it brought some sort of real. And I remember hearing his voice and being like, this guy has to be a good guy. Like there's like almost like there's proof that there's good, right? Like
Yeah.
I would like research where the band came from and how they originated, and you get into the history and all of that. And it was almost like I needed as a kid to have proof that there was good here, that there wasn't just
Wow.
bad, and that I wasn't just not safe, right?
Right.
So it was a really deep thing for me. I'm a deep thinker. Like I'm a very like dramatic person. So I don't remember how I really got involved. I just remember I kind of was like, all right, like what's next? What's the next thing about this band? Like let's learn it all. Let's do it all. Let's go hard, right? And it gave me a sense of, I guess it gave me a sense of like autonomy in a way, because it was like
Yeah.
my thing. And yeah, so and also like gave me a whole community of people that I could feel safe with, because Dave people also don't really like bully people. We're kind of like a bunch of nerds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, self-proclaimed.
Hello.
It
Yeah.
just is what it is. I mean, I was too. Very similar story. Just
Really?
I still don't know who I want to be when I grow up, like to this day.
I know. That's why I'm very in the moment. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Like, if it feels
Me
good,
too.
I'm doing it. Uh,
So how do you go from, okay, you have embraced the span, you've met other people and created relationships around the fact that they also enjoyed the Dave Matthews Band. And so by this point, how old were you?
I want to say this was all through definitely like the end of middle school, and like the first half of high school was when I was
Okay.
getting really into it.
Okay.
Um, and there was one friend, her name was Liz. She's not here anymore. She passed away when we were, I think, like 2022. And her and I, like, were both kind of dark and twisty, right? Like we were just going through it. We both had a lot of family stuff going on. And I feel like this is kind of a trend with some of the Dave fans that I've met. But, so her and I became like best friends. We were like the best friends there ever were. We were together all the time, meeting up before school, meeting up after school, meeting up,
Yeah.
and we were obsessed, like literally buying posters, bootlegging, doing the whole thing together. We would make up like little dances to all the Dave songs, like literally be like drunk at some high school party. And there's like all these cool people. And then there's me and Liz, and we're like dancing to Satellite, like making some like choreographing like silly little dances, interpretive dances to Dave. So, so that, again, it was kind of something that like connected me to people on like a more real level, if that makes any sense.
It does.
So, yeah.
What takes you to the next step? So I always
Yeah.
say, and you know this, I know this. For those of you that don't know this, I'll explain before asking her. So there is a huge trend, at least in my experience of interviewing people, which if you don't know anything about this podcast, I almost have 200 episodes. And most of those are people sharing their journey with the Dave Matthews Band. So here's what I have gathered from the data I'm collecting.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it changes the first time you see them. When did
Oh my
that
gosh.
happen? Were you young? Was it later? And if I skipped a whole bunch of stuff,
No,
we
you're
can we
good.
can
You're like kind of going right in line.
perfect.
So,
Perfect.
so it became my life's goal to see Dave, right? And there's like a whole full circle story, which is really cool with this. And I'm kind of like a skipper of things. So if I start skipping around too much, please stop me.
Well, I think everybody's going to be able to
I think we're
keep
all,
up with you. You're good.
yeah.
Get right. Put your seatbelts on.
All right, here we go. So it was my life's goal. I'm going to see Dave Matthews Band live. This man gets up on stage in his PJs, which is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he does this cute little foot thing. And I'm going to do it. I've got to do it. And of course, I think at this time I was like 14 or 15. And my parents are like, absolutely not. Like, not.
Right.
So I'm 14 and I end up kind of like running away from Phoenix to Chicago. Okay. So my mom, there was a lot of stuff going on at home, and I didn't feel safe. And I called up my dad, who was living in Chicago, and I was like, "You've got to get me out of here. I need to get out of here." So he basically flew me out, and it looked like I was going to be visiting, with the court. Like it looked like Jennie's going on a little trip to visit her dad.
Right.
And then he had papers served to my mom. Jennie's not coming home, and I'm doing like an emergency custody order. So at that point, I became kind of like I had a guardian ad litem. Like I kind of became like in the middle
Yeah.
of the two of them. So I go to Chicago. He sends me to this all girls private school because he's thinking these, schools that are these inner city schools, she's not going to be safe. There's metal detectors, there's all kinds of stuff. I'm already wrapped up in, like way too many activities that I shouldn't be wrapped up in at that
Yeah.
age. So he sends me to an all girls private school, and there was about 300 people in the school. And lo and behold, like the crew that I get in with are all obsessed with Dave Matthews Band. And I'm like,
What?
this is where I'm meant to be. Like, I'm here, right?
You
Like,
felt
oh
at
my
home
God.
then.
They're obsessed with Dave. They're just hilarious. I find this like group of girls in this high school that are so funny. I mean, like making nerdy dances to Dave. I mean, there was just like a freeness that came with that, right? That
Yeah.
vibe. And so I immediately had some people that I connected with. I wasn't being bullied for like the first time ever. I was like,
Wow.
this is awesome, right?
Yes.
Dave Matthews is coming to Chicago. And I'm like, we're doing it. Like, I don't care what has to happen. We are 100% doing this. Like, I'm going to look Dave Matthews in the eyeballs, and like, there's going to be a whole moment, and
Yeah.
I'm going, right? And my dad was like, absolutely not. Like, you're like, wait, like, first of all, your grades are horrible. You're, blah, blah, blah. You're not cleaning your room. You're sneaking out. You're doing all these things. The girls' school really wasn't like, as far as if you're trying to get me away from like pot, like I think they were kind of worse. Like there was probably
Wow.
more pot smoking with that because
Yeah.
there were so many more restrictions. Like there was so much more rebellion.
Right.
And so he was like, okay, if you get whatever, like B's, I was never good at school. Like never good, never a very good student. He's like, if you get all B's on this like report card, I'll let you go. And so back in the day, I don't know who's listening to this that remembers this, but when tickets used to come out, you would go at like 4 a.m. and you would stand outside the mall where they would have their Ticketmaster counter, and you would wait there. Like you'd camp there if you had to get these tickets. There was no online, there was no phones, there was no, I mean, we didn't have any of that.
Right.
So I camp out like early hours of the morning. I'm like, I'm going to get a B on this test. It's going to be fine. We're going. I'll never remember like walking up to the ticket counter and having the ticket in my actual, I mean, it was literally like, oh my God, like my entire life's dream is to see Dave at this point. So I have my ticket. I'm all excited about it. I think it was like a lawn ticket or something. I did not get a B on that test. Something way worse. Like I don't remember, but listen, 100%. Let me tell you, I moved back to Phoenix so fast. I was like, no, like I will take like my mom and all that shit going on with her. You betrayed me in a way. Like he knew. And now that I'm a parent, I still don't get it. I really don't. I mean, that was just so important to me.
Right.
And that's part of why I homeschool, because I don't want to put that pressure on my kids, but I couldn't. I'm not a good test taker.
Yeah.
I'm just not. And he didn't let me go. And this was like basically, that was like a turning point in my relationship with my dad, because I felt like he wasn't understanding something. This wasn't just like a silly thing that I wanted to do. This was somewhere where I felt like I was going to, I don't know, like experience pure joy. Like I felt like I deserved that. Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I was pissed. So I moved back to Phoenix. I was like, just kidding, mom. I'm going to live with you. And I completely went off the rails. I lost my shit. Like I at this point was very, very into a lot of drugs, a lot of partying, very, very lonely. Didn't, at this point, I think because I was hurt by my dad and I was hurt by my mom, and there was just kind of all this stuff. Dave Matthews was like on my earphones all the time. It was literally like the only time I felt okay. It's like I have my Discman and I'm going for a run and I'm listening to Dave. And it was the only way I could there was something consistent, which was that music, that message, some sort of message of hope. And it's weird because like at that point, I'm not really hanging out with Dave Matthews fans anymore. I'm hanging out with like much older people. I'm not really feeling safe ever. I'm just kind of, fuck it. Like, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
My mom was like, do whatever you want because you're back. So whatever. So at this point, I'm like, whatever. So anyway, Dave comes to Phoenix and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to see him, you motherfuckers. Like, I don't care.
Hell yeah.
I don't
This
care.
is the time.
And I remember like, so I went with that boy who I had a crush on, who nothing ever happened.
No way. The guy that you saw reading the lyrics off the paper?
Yeah.
That
I went to
guy?
my first concert. He was there, but like, nothing ever happened and it's totally fine.
Just like how funny that all
full circle
sync back up.
Because I kind of like went like, hey guys, like Dave's coming. And so funny story, I go to the concert. We're in the lawn. We're smoking so much pot. Like it's just insane. Right. I'm like going to different groups of people smoking their pot. Like it was so fun. My energy felt like, like I felt so no fucks to give, like just good. I'm around like Dave. So we're in the lawn and this kid, he ended up going like grabbing my hand and we snuck up to the front row. Like, cause back then it was easier to like skip up into the front. We got up into the pit and I'm telling you, when Dave Matthews sang Ants Marching and he did the Could We All Been a Dancing Nancy and he did this eyebrow thing. He's like, Dancing Nancy. I was like, like he literally looked at I swear to you, he made eye contact with me. So I'm standing there completely stunned. Like I don't even know where I am in my body anymore. Like I don't know who's around, what's around, whatever. Concert ends and I'm just standing like mute. Like I can't even breathe anymore. Pajama pants are right in front of my face. Like I am like not okay. And they threw out his water bottle. And the boy like went and hopped the fence and got it. And I literally got Dave's water bottle, like DNA.
What?
Legit, like the water bottle he drank out of, like
yes.
the Arrowhead water. So I'm like, oh, there's water, like made a shrine in my room.
Of
Like,
course. That was
so
Dave
weird. I mean, it's
Matthews'
so
water
creepy. I
bottle.
bet he hears these stories and he's like, you guys are so weird. Like, it was a water bottle, but
I
he's
know,
really
but, like, fangirl, like, that's a
fangirl, 100%. Oh my God. So yeah, when I saw him live, it was unreal. I mean, the way that they perform, it's like they're in another universe for a minute. Like it's so different than listening to the tracks. Like
Right.
it's such a different experience. It's crazy because it's like almost like they're picking up on the vibe
They are. They're
and then
throwing
they're
it
like,
out, and we're throwing it back. It's
I mean, it's
amazing.
crazy. Like, and it was like that back then, and
Uh-huh.
it's still like that. But it was so, it was like an out of body experience. Like I was like high on life, like for months after that. Yeah,
Right?
he's always forgetting his words, and he's high, and everyone's
It's okay.
happy. There's
Yeah.
no, and again, I felt totally safe there. Like I'm a little like 15-year-old girl, just even back then, like there was always like you get me. If you're at a Dave
Mm,
show, you get me and I get
yeah.
you and we're good. Like I can be myself. And that's the freedom that I feel like the band has given its fans. And I think there's a common understanding of that between all of us that can't really be explained to like my husband. He's like, you're such a nerd. Like
I
he
get it.
supports it, but he's like, I'm not, like he doesn't get it.
But it is so nice to meet people that do, and on your level get it, right? Like, we've all met people that love the Dave Matthews Band, but when you meet someone that I think there is a difference between loving a band and being passionate about a band, and I think that
Yeah.
that is what we are. We are just more on the passion side than the love side. And with passion, you just sometimes it's a little nerdy because we know a lot, right? Because we
Yeah.
dig into the history. We want to know who these guys are. Where are they
Right.
from? What the hell did they do before they were in the Dave Matthews Band? Like you just want to know everything about them. And so that can come
It's
across as
crazy.
weird
Well, like
because
stalkerish, and
I
it's
get
not
that.
stalkerish though. It's like I met Stefan last year, and I was like, I've known who you are since you were like 16 years old.
Yeah.
Like I know everything about you. Like it's just so you're 50. You know what I mean? You've got like a family. I've like watched you grow up,
Yeah,
right?
you
And
literally have.
what you've given to us during these moments, right? I met Carter. I got to give him like a big hug,
I
and
bet
kind
he's
of
the
tell
best
him
hug giver, is he?
he like listen. He was getting off an elevator, and I was like, I really need a hug. I mean, and he is just so genuinely just a good guy. Like there's just something very calming about him and genuine and sweet. And he and I had a really cool interaction. One of my children had some pretty serious medical issues last year,
Goodness, I'm so
and
sorry.
ended up needing brain surgery.
Oh my god. Oh my
And so when we were in the recovery phase, the doctors had said, you need to get him working on his fine motor skills because it was the cerebellum and he had, a lot going on. And so he went through this phase where he wasn't allowed to, it's a 6-year-old boy. He's not allowed to run, jump, play,
wow.
no sports, nothing. And so we got to get fine motor skills. And I'm like, okay, what's something that you would like to learn? He's like, drum. I'm like, perfect. So I find this drum teacher, and the guy lives, a couple blocks away from me. And through my son's recovery stage, kind of every week we would go, he would learn how to play the drums. And this is like how he kind of got that connection going back, right?
No
Between his
way.
cerebellum and his fine motor skills. And that
Yeah.
was a big part of his recovery. And the instructor is a huge Dave fan. And
No
so
way. What are the
taught him,
chances?
I know, take these chances. Um, so it was really cool. And so we would play, we talked about Carter every week. I mean, we would play, he learned how to play Ann's marching. And so when I met Carter, I got to tell him that, like, hey, you've like helped heal in so many ways, like just like how badass you are, right? And what a cool
Right.
example you are. And just knowing that, being able to look up to you, right?
Yeah.
Was a way to kind of help. So it's like they don't even know what they're doing for people, you know? Well, and what was cool to me was that he was Carter, I'm telling him this story, right? And he was just locked eyes with me, listening to every word. I wasn't like just another fan. I mean, and I think he treats everyone like that. And I think that's something else that is so cool about this band is that they really do practice what they preach. Like they really do kind of get up on that stage, perform some magic. There's like a very universal love feeling there. And then if you actually do get lucky enough to meet one, they actually are like that. And so it's just very, they say like never meet your heroes. And I'm like, no, like every single one of them, they're amazing people.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool to have that interaction with him.
I bet. I've never met Carter. He is, for those of you that don't, of course, he's the drummer for the Dave Matthews Band. And he's fun to watch, right? Not only because he has this huge drum set, and I think that's why, and he's so good at it. Like his kit is so massive. And if you look at a lot of other bands and their drum kits, they're just not even half of what Carter does. Yeah. But he's just up there, hitting stuff all the way around him and smiling and popping that bubble gum or whatever, throwing his braids back. Like he looks like he's having a great time. And I don't think it's a show. I think it's really genuine.
Exactly. And that's so important to me, just like in general, is seeing what you get, like really who they pretend to be is who they really are. Right. And, and he's so every time, I mean, I'm always kind of locked into Carter because he's so happy back there and just the cute little looks that he gives everybody and these like inside jokes, whatever they're doing up there. They're really having fun.
Is it? Okay, so Jennifer, I have never met you, and we met through Facebook, as Dave Matthews Band fans do. If you are not on social media and you're listening to this, that's how fans connect, is through the groups that are on Facebook and Instagram, all of the Dave pages, and when you start traveling to see the band, you just pick up these people, these new family members. And so I have seen you in a post, though, that several people posted. I want to say it went up pretty high up the chain as far as like followers go, and you had a poster signed by Dave Matthews Band. And so I know you have it on video, so we're going to insert that into the YouTube side right now. So if you're listening to this, you're just going to hear the sound, but be sure to check it out on YouTube so you can see the
How do you fucking feel?
Come and see, I swear by now I'm playing time against my troubles. I'm coming slow by.
Video, but take us back to that moment and explain to us, like, what, if you're okay with it, like, what did that mean? How did he save your life?
Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, I did get the tattoo. It's right here. This is literally like the same size, thickness, everything that he drew on that poster. And it's the coolest thing ever. I love having it on my arm. Okay, back up. So the poster said, you saved my life when I was 16, draw me a tattoo, ? And I had a little checkbox, for him to go in and draw me a tattoo.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, and my friends and I were planning this because it was my first time it was my second time ever being in the pit. And I was going to Charlottesville, Virginia, which is where it all began. So I was going to like a very nostalgic, the band originated here. The energy is going to be amazing. I got pit tickets to their home venue. I mean, I was like so excited. And I was like, this is my chance, right? Because throughout my life, I feel like I just need Dave to know what he's done for me. Like, I don't need the picture with you. I want a picture. I want a hug. I want to like have like hour and a half long chat with you.
Yes.
and like for you to know me personally, invite me backstage and like all those things. But I needed him to know, right? So I was like, okay, I very, you saved my life when I was 16. So when I was 16, kind of around there, 16, 17, 18, I, spoke earlier, but just, I was not in a good place. I had seen and done a lot of things by that age that the average 15, 16, 17-year-old doesn't have to see, endure, experience. I was very, very heavy into drugs. I was very kind of like jumping into vans, running away, very lost. I had like a 1.8 GPA, dropped out of high school. And I didn't feel like I just didn't fit in here. Like I didn't feel loved or like anyone really cared about me for who I was. I didn't really know who I was. And, there's a point when when you're kind of involved in addiction where like it stops working, like everything that you're trying to do to feel better. And you just get to this numb place. And that's kind of where I had gotten myself. And I know, there wasn't a specific moment that I feel like Dave actually physically saved my life, right? Like there was kind of this time period of my life where getting that water bottle and was a moment of hope for me, right? Like seeing him live, experiencing pure joy for one night.
Yeah.
Just one night, like nothing else matters, right? Like I'm here, I'm safe. Getting the water bottle, I felt like was some sort of message from the universe. Like at that time, I'm like, oh, there's a purpose. Like I have a purpose, like something, I felt like it was telling me something, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, they were always in my ears. And so the only thing that was consistent in my life during that time that was positive, that brought me any kind of hope, was the lyrics to that music, specifically that Under the Table and Dreaming. Also Crash, that CD was very, very important to me as well. And then what was Teacup? Was that the name of the album? What was the name of the album that had Seek Up on it? It was like the hazy one, the green one. What the heck was the name of the album? Brain fart bad right now.
Is it on the very first one? Is it
No, it was on it was after Crash, and it was like the blue and green, and like if you look at it, it turns into like a 3D. What the fuck was the name of that album? But that was my escape. That was like my true escape, right? And through, I went to like various rehab facilities, mental hospitals. Like I was kind of thrown all over the place in those later teenage years, and kept messing up, kept getting myself back to the same place, kept getting involved with more and more dangerous circumstances and people. And Dave was like the only time I felt okay, right? Like there was just something, and even he played it at Charlottesville the night that he signed my poster, and I'm like hysterically crying because I was like, oh my God. Like I couldn't even believe that he was playing it. And I can't remember the name right now. It's because I'm on a podcast and I'm talking.
It's the pressure of the podcast.
It's the pressure. We'll lock you away. Why are you like that?
Typical situation. I got you, girl. That's the song that hooked me to the Dave Matthews Band, because if you listen to the
Fucked me up
words
to
of
my
that,
soul every single time. And I remember listening to typical situation back then. Why are you different? Why are you this way? Get in line. We're going to lock you. Like you don't deserve to be here. You're different. You look different. You're weird. You're not, school smart. You're not, all of those things. That song specifically really back then. And it did a lot. Like, and so when he was playing it that night, I was like, oh my God, like you're playing this all these years later. I own a business. I have 3 beautiful children. I have these amazing friends. I have a beautiful house. I have bunnies. And I'm just thinking of like kind of the full circle. Like I am different. I did flunk out of high school. I did kind of screw up in all those ways. I was a nerd. I was bullied. I mean, I'm thinking of like all these like failures, right? And I'm going, oh my God, it's like 25 years later and I'm whole, like I'm okay. And part of that is because of this message, this messaging. Somebody out there wrote some lyrics down and got me and understood me and was able to get me to hear them. And there was something about that back then, that whether it was like I still had a habit of researching and bootlegging and all of that, like I stayed close to that throughout all those years. But the last treatment center I went to, they picked me up from this mental hospital and they were like, hey, come to this like rehab, it's in the middle of the desert and you'll stay there for 6 weeks. And I'm like, here we fucking go again, like I'm not going to make it. I suck at this too, and they're like, what's your favorite music? I'm like, Dave Matthews Band. And this guy, the people that picked me up who worked for the center, had the Crash CD in his car. And I remember him playing it, during this drive. And I had just gotten out of this mental hospital. I'm like all kind of like on meds and whatever. And I remember like driving to this last treatment center, listening to the Crash CD with this guy who essentially kind of also saved my life, this counselor. But just that moment, it's like you just have moments in life where a certain song was playing, a certain album was playing. So it was very deep. And it sounds silly when I say that he saved my life, like, but the messaging, the culture, the people, the music and what they do on stage, that is where, I mean, that fills me up. And it's continued to do so throughout the years. And I just felt like Dave needed to understand, like, I'm in the pit and I need him to understand with big black letters that he did something for me that isn't, I'm not just like a fangirl. I'm not just like, it's not like that. It's like, you legit, like your heart has spoken to my heart and thank you. And I just needed him to know that. So I didn't think he was going to draw me a tattoo. I wished he would. My friends are like, Jennie, there's no way. I'm like, listen, I'm going to make it happen. And when they opened the pit up, I mean, me and my friend Catherine booked it down the stairs and the cops are like, slow down. I'm like, fuck you, like I'm getting down there. And we get on the rail and I'm like, okay, I'm on the fucking rail. I have the poster. And I had previously kind of like stalked his bodyguard guy, the bald guy, super big and tall. And he's always like following Dave everywhere. And I showed him the poster and I was like, can you like, please try to inch Dave to like look over at me and look at the poster. And even the bodyguard had a sweet reaction to that. He read it and he was like, that's really cool. Yeah, I'll, see what I can do or whatever. And it was kind of cool for me because I wasn't pissing off the bodyguard. Like, you usually think you're going to get in trouble if you like walk anywhere. Right. And so there was a moment during the show where he was playing Crush and I'm like holding it in his face, like, please be looking. And he nodded at me. He did the, like, I read this, I hear you. And that was enough for me. I mean, I was like, now, like, you don't know who I am, but you need to understand that you saved me. Like, you just need to understand it. So that was kind of all I needed, was like the head nod. Right. And then he, after the show, walked up and drew this awesome tattoo on the poster. And I completely like blacked out. I mean, I was like, this is not happening. Like, this is not happening right now. And like, there's all these lights and the photographer and afterwards the love, and this was the cool thing for me. My friend was like, you just got acknowledged by Dave in front of like 20,000 people, like fully acknowledged, like deeply acknowledged. And the love, just the people coming up, hey, I have a video of this, I have a picture of this, me being able to just say, like, I feel like that poster kind of lets people know that I didn't want to be here. And 30 years later, to kind of get that affirmation and that love from the community, who have probably been at shows with these people throughout the years, right? I've never made it to there's a, the front line is called the rail, and everyone rushes up there and really wants to get as close as they can. I've never gotten up there. And so, it was a really beautiful kind of full circle thing for me. The fact that he would turn around and actually come right on the poster. And he didn't just like he like literally did like a full blown Dave face. Like he did really his kind of like signature artwork, you know? And I thought that was, he didn't just go like, he could have drawn like a dick. I would have put whatever he put on my arm. Like he could have put anything, like, you know, a line, like a check mark, anything.
Exactly. I mean, and his signature is basically just a scribble anyway. So, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
But instead, you got an
An actual
amazing
piece of artwork.
one-of-a-kind piece, and it's really, really cool. He definitely has a unique style in his art, in the way he draws. But it's so good, and it's very, I don't know, like I said, it's just very unique. So how cool that you
Very
got
unique.
that. So after that happens, of course, yeah, like you said, I'm sure everyone was like, you
Oh my
know,
God.
I've got these videos, I took some pictures, like, who are you, whatever. But once you get back home and you're out of that and you're there with your poster and you're like reliving all of that in your head, did it ever actually click like, yeah, that happened? Or were you like, when I woke up the next day, I kind of thought it was all a dream? Like, how did it feel?
It was very surreal. It was like, I mean, the weight of it was really heavy for me. So when I got home, I mean, because throughout the weekend, this was the first night. So throughout the weekend, people would be like, I saw you last night, you know, and I was just getting all this love. And when I got home, I mean, I was a sobbing mess. Like I just felt whole. Like I was like, it was just this full circle. The universe or something was listening and knew I needed
Yeah.
that, you know. It wasn't, and it felt real, obviously, but it was also like, well, of course he did that. That's who he is. Like, they're not going to throw something at me and laugh at me and disregard me and
Oh my goodness.
and all that. I mean, that's why I've been following this band all this time, you know, is because that's who they are. They care about people, no matter what they look like or where they've been or what they've done. And so, yeah, when they say like never meet your heroes, I'm like mine are all actual heroes. Like they're all amazing humans and have this gift that they're sharing that they don't understand. Like they might understand, but the cool thing for me was like everyone there got it. There was no one that was like, what the hell? Why would you write that?
Right.
Why would you put out there that, you know, you had whatever issue, you know? And there was actually a girl named Erin who reached out to me. And she should be on your podcast too, because she's amazing.
Hey, Erin.
Hi, Erin, you got to get up here.
Come on, Erin.
But she was like, hey, I'm on my way to Charlottesville, saw your video, have to meet you, have to hug you. And Dave saved my life too at 16. And I will let her tell you her story if you do meet with her.
Yeah.
But I got to like hug her, and she happens to live in Raleigh.
No way.
Like you live like 30 minutes from me?
Did we just become best friends?
Did we? Like, do you like guacamole? I mean, it was like that whole and then a couple months later, he came to Raleigh. So I ended up running into Dave and being able to show him the fucking tattoo.
No
like,
way.
I'm not kidding you. And let me tell you,
how did he react? Or like, did he just like?
He was like, well, it's Dave, right? So when like he's like, cool, it came out pretty well. Like, and I have a picture I can show you. And he autographed it. So this autograph here is Dave literally grabbing my arm and autographing his own artwork. So like it made it so much cooler. Like I know I didn't post. So like when the reel started going around, I mean, me and my friends were joking, like, oh my God, I'm famous. Like I'm famous. Yeah, my kids are like, you're famous. I'm like, I'm doing a Dave Matthews podcast today. So like you have to like definitely be quiet. And they think I'm such a nerd. And so I just wanted to keep it to myself for a minute. Like I was like, okay, like, and when I met him, I was fumbling and fangirling, and I just wasn't. I'm like, now he thinks I'm a total idiot because he's totally thinking about me still, right? Obviously. So yeah, it was really cool, and he definitely remembered me. I mean, he was like, oh my God, like that's awesome. It came out really well, you know, and it was interesting that
it grabbed you. The
he grabbed my arm. I asked him to sign it. I was like, can you sign it? He grabbed the arm. I mean, like literal Dave handprint right here. And I was like, oh my God. And I went and got the tattoo before the show. I mean, I like literally left where I was, went and got, I mean, you have to, or it's going to like sweat off, right?
Yes.
So
amazing.
So yeah, it was a really cool experience. So like a full circle affirmation kind of like energetic universe, whatever it was. Like, it was just a very cool, like after all these years, and me kind of chasing you or that moment or that, whatever, being able, I just wanted him to know.
Right.
And then the fact that he did that, I thought was just kind of a testament to who he and the band are, and that those lyrics, it makes it even more real. And I will say, in this last year and a half since then, there's been a lot of life stuff. One of my sons, like I said, had a brain tumor and had a lot of medical stuff going on that was very unexpected. And he's thankfully okay, and he's thriving and he's doing great. But it was the moment that you're like, this is the moment that you think, when other people have it, God, I'm glad that's not me. And then you're living it all of a sudden. And it was really, really hard. And even in the hospital, the doctors are like, oh, Dave Matthews Band, blah, blah, blah. I saw this reel. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to take care of him because you get it. I mean, there was like even during that, I'm listening, during that time, it was Gray Street. It was like, I just need to listen to this over and over and over and over again, to and from the hospital, and all of that. And there's always a song that's corresponding with a certain part of my life. And then our house flooded last year. And so my friends will joke with me and be like, okay, you have like all these really shitty things going on, but Dave Matthews also signed your poster. And I'm like, kind of balances out a little bit. Yeah, it's been a lot, but the cool thing is, and I think that for me, I grew up with a lot of external stuff going on, that a lot of pain caused by people.
Mm-hmm.
My kids have grown up with a lot of external stuff. Like, we went through this whole pandemic. We were all stuck at home. We had the medical issues with my son. Our house flooded. I mean, these very big kind of life experiences. And we're just making it. We're just figuring it out, and we're a team. And the struggles that they've gone through and are going through are life circumstances. Like, life is going to happen. Suffering is going to happen. It just is. And it doesn't pick who and how nice it's going to be to each person. But their life, I guess, I don't even know what word to use for this, but their big struggles in life have not been caused by me.
Right.
And I think that's been the cool thing. Like, I'm healed, right? Like, and so through that, yes, it's been stressful. It's been inconsistent. It's been hard. It's been a lot of things. But at the end of the day, like, my kids know I love them. They know I'm here for them. And that's a consistent across the board.
That's everything.
That's everything. Like, they're going to grow up with shit, right? Like, we all are, but
you can't protect them from that. It's everywhere.
Yeah. So it's been a lot. And, I'm still trying to kind of process, and it's funny because, like, it's always in the winter when this shit happens. And so then by the time the summer comes, I'm like, concert. You gotta
get yourself whole again so that you can pour out during the winter to your kids and to your company and everything.
Yeah. So the concerts, like, are really, now as an adult, I'm like, I need that shit. Like, I need to be able to go get it out, experience the magic, be with my people. Nothing else matters when you're there. It's like, I just step into that environment and just feel good. Like, I put this shirt on today. So, like, our house flooded and I haven't had any of my stuff for like 5 months. Right. And I called the people and I was like, listen, there is a red shirt and it has the number 41 on it, and you must find it and I must have it because I'm on the Dave Matthews podcast.
The shirt.
And as soon as I put it on, I was like, yeah, like, you just feel so good in that energy.
Okay.
So I'm excited for this summer. I'm going to the Gorge for the first time.
Oh my, what a year to go. I just saw all the announcements of who their openers
are. Oh my God. I'm freaking out. So, and for people who don't know, like, the Gorge is like the last venue they play at every year. It's this beautiful canyon in, what is it, Oregon or Washington? Like, where am I even going?
And it's in George, Washington.
It's George.
It's the city that it's George, like the man, but
right. But then it's called the Gorge.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm going there and I'm going to go glamp. They're going to set up the yurt or whatever for me and my friend, and we're going to go crazy. And another funny story, like, she lives on my street. Her name is Catherine. Shout out to Catherine. And she's the one. So for like 4 years, we lived on the same street and kept trying to hang out. And it never worked. Like I kept having babies. She had a baby. The pandemic happened. Like it just never worked. Right. And I knew she liked Dave because she has a fire dancer on the back of her truck. So I always knew like we were going to get along. And when I got those pit tickets for Charlottesville, I texted her and I was like, listen, I barely know you. Do you want to go to Charlottesville with me and go to the Dave show in the pit? And she was like, abso-fucking-lutely. And we got in this car and we were like best friends by the time we got there. I mean, like like she's literally my person now. Like through motherhood and navigating kind of the loneliness that comes with that and trying to figure out who you are again, like after having these babies and all of that has been hard. And she's totally my person. Like her daughter is a couple years younger than my kids and they all love her so much. And so she and I are going together because we're like, you know what? We're going to go. We're going to do it.
I can't wait to see your post. And I mean, it's so far away, but I can't wait.
I know. Have you?
I have been once. It was 2023. And so we don't have any plans to go back just because I want to try to hit all the venues. I know that sounds silly, but like I really want to go to all of them. And so we're going to just focus on the ones we haven't been to.
That's kind of where I'm at too. And it's cool. And my husband's great because I'm in a support group on Facebook for people with spouses who do not get Dave, right? There's like
Is that a thing?
It's a thing. It's so funny because people are like, all right, like husband totally doesn't get it. But he totally supports, like he gets it. He's like, This is your thing. And so once or twice a year, I get to go, be kid free, be myself, just kind of in a new place, experience a new venue, and he totally holds down the fort and just kind of gets that I need to go do this thing. And he's like, you always say you're going to come back like so rejuvenated and then you're just like dead tired for the next hour and 3 days. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm a little scared because it's like a big trek. You have to like road trip after you fly there. So,
and you have to take everything, because it's just out in the middle of nowhere. So it's get it all packed.
I'm so excited.
Here's what I learned at the gorge. Also, I learned you should pack things more carefully because they go through your luggage before you go inside. There's a pro tip for all you.
Okay, I'm going to need to text you and get all the tips.
Hide your stuff.
I'm not good at these things. Like I'm the one that gets shit like at the airport. They're like, you shouldn't have put that big bottle in the backpack. Like I'm totally like a wild traveler. Like I'm just so flighty. And so I can definitely see that I'll get in trouble for something that like I didn't.
I flew all the way from Arkansas to Washington and had zero issues. But the moment I get to the gorge, it's like this dude that's not even a cop searches my bags. I was like, dude, I've already flown here and gone through like security.
Like we're good. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm scared now. Like what?
But yeah, just like I don't know. That's the only thing
I got for you. Pack organized.
You're gonna have so much fun. So the gorge this year. Is there anything else? I mean,
so we got tickets to Richmond. I'm so excited for that.
A couple of years, right?
I haven't either. So and I didn't know this, but they haven't played in Richmond in like a long, long time. I don't want to say how many years. It's been a long, long time since they played there. And it's a tiny venue. It's got like 7,500 people.
What?
Yeah. And I got somehow the universe, I swear to you, like just knows that I need like this luck with the tickets. So
I'll have to look into that. When is that concert?
It's in July. And I don't quite know the day yet at the time.
The whole month of July.
July like 15th. You should go.
7,500 people? I'm sure it's sold out.
It is, but you could pay like $2,000.
The Space Between Podcast needs a ticket to the show. If you have one, hit us this year.
Hello. Yeah, I got it. So for people to know too, there's this thing called the Warehouse, and it's this big online group of people who basically we get like the pre-sale, and you have to pay a membership to be a part of it. You basically bid on the different shows that you want to go to and what seat areas that you would take. And then they play around with your credit card for like a month and trick you and make you think you're going, and then you're not going, and then you're going, and then and you get what you get. And so that's what I got. And so I'm super excited.
That's exciting. That's really exciting. I did not know that about Richmond. I've never been to Richmond, Virginia. I've not been to Virginia except for Charlottesville. That's the only
place.
Were
you there that night?
I was there that night. I had a very different view than you did, but I actually was there to watch that happen. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. I feel like I've come full circle now from seeing what you've just explained with
Cool.
my own eyes to actually understanding what happened. And so that's amazing.
Amazing. Oh my
Thank
God, I
you
love
for
that.
sharing that because, like you said, people may wonder, like, why is she being so vulnerable and admitting that she did have problems or, may still or whatever? Like, I'm sure people think of that, but I think that, well, I know that just even this conversation saying that you were not okay is okay. And I think that that helps people or it reminds people that it is okay to say, dude, you know what? I'm really struggling right now.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good. And it looks different for everybody, right? And all the things on the outside might be going well. Like, I got a great job, I got a car, I got a house, I got all this shit. But yet my inside voice inside my head is telling me all kinds of different things, right? And so it's so important, I think, just to say, hey, I'm not okay. And so thank you for being just like a bold example of someone that was like, hey, you know what? I was having problems and you really helped me. And I wanted to say thank you. So I think your story is amazing. And I'm so excited to get to share it with everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, I am too. Yeah, I think it's so important to not, I guess, like be ashamed, like no matter what's going on. I mean, we all have stuff, and
Everybody.
and I want what's real. Like I want and I want, I am a very vocal person now. And I think that some people may look at it like, okay, deer in headlights, like you don't have to tell everybody every single little thing. But there's a certain comfortability I have with myself now that I didn't have before. And so, to me, it was like, okay, he's probably not going to sign it. So he'll probably be the only one that sees it, or Buddy,
Right.
and Buddy was like the whole time he did the like, cause I was like right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think for me, it was just, the love after was really cool. It was like, wow, people get it. And I'm sure that there's thousands of other people. I mean, you're doing this podcast because people on a deep, heavy level relate to this band and this music. There wouldn't be a podcast. There wouldn't be, this following. There's a reel where Dave Matthews is like, well, no, I just have the same 30,000 fans. They just follow me everywhere. It's like, yeah,
Right.
that's basically how it is. So I just think it's so important to be real and that there's always somebody who can understand. And sometimes that's in the form of a musician, a poet,
That's right.
somebody who's writing down some shit and you're identifying with it, right? Sometimes it's an artist, sometimes it's a book. I mean, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be, the same channels that the very traditional channels, like therapy wasn't helping me, rehab wasn't helping me. I mean, there was a lot that was like traditionally thrown at me that I wasn't identifying with.
Right.
But I identify with.
You, again, hit the nail on the head. For those of you that, again, are just listening to this for the very first time, what I'm doing with all of these podcasts that I put together from everyone sharing just their examples of how this band has been a tool to get them through whatever their story is. We're using that and we're using clips of all of the episodes, and we're making a documentary about how music correlates with mental health. And so
God.
I think that, it is something that we need to talk loud and proud about because people don't even know that music, which I would say most people listen to some form of music. There are definitely people that don't enjoy music, and there is a science behind that. That is what I'm learning through making this documentary.
No joke.
But like, we want to know exactly how is this helping, like on a scientific way. And so we've collected therapists and psychologists and neurologists to come together, and we're making this film. And so, again, thank you for just being vulnerable and saying, hey, yeah, this really did help with my mental health. And I know that other people are going through this too. Music is just such a tool, and I don't think people give it enough credit.
They don't.
And again, it's not just the Dave Matthews Band.
No, I know.
Whatever you relate to, but music is highly underrated.
It is. And It's interesting because somebody was saying, it was a therapist, like a friend that's a therapist, and he was saying that they haven't scientifically, it's the one thing that they don't fully understand. Like, what is it about music, right? And I've tripped about this a lot, like since the beginning of time, right? Like I'm obsessed with the Mayans, FYI.
Mm-hmm.
I went down, it's Dave Matthews and the Mayans, like went down to Belize for my 40th birthday. I went down there by myself for my 40th birthday for a week. And I stayed in a jungle in this little hut in Belize. And I was like, I'm going to go hike these Mayan ruins and be with the Mayans and like eat the food and make the chocolate and do the whole thing and go through the caves. And it was amazing. Hands down, coolest experience ever. But ever since the beginning of time, I'm talking like ancient civilizations. I'm like in this cave where they would bring in all the pottery and the offerings to the gods, right? Music and ceremony and connection. I mean, this has been a thing since the beginning of human civilization, where music is bringing people together. I mean, you think about different religions and they're singing, you know, they're during church, and then different, you know, if you're going into a yoga class and you're hearing like the Om music, and there's a power in that connects us, and it's been like that forever. And now it's kind of gotten murky, right? Because it's all like fame and money and like, you know, all of that stuff. But the real musicians, like the ones that are really doing it from the heart, and also those people tend to struggle with mental health. A lot of me look at like Kurt Cobain, Dave Matthews has been very open about his mental health. Just people over time, you know, that we've seen some bad endings to, and that we've seen, you know, whatever. But the music, those fans of those writers are usually identifying very, very deeply. And so there's such a connection with mental health and music. And it's not just a fangirl thing. I mean, if I see Taylor Swift, total fangirl. But, you know, but with a band like this and a community like this, I mean, it brings people together, you know. That documentary sounds amazing. Please let me, like, anything I can do to be a part of it. I would love to be a part of that. Helping you out. I'm a really good writer, really good marketer. So whatever you need, and like if you like put me on there, I'll be so happy. But you don't have to.
I mean, we'll have a conversation later for sure. But if you're interested, if someone's listening to this and you're like, well, how in the world did Jennifer get on the show? It was as simple as just, I mean, we had a conversation on Messenger on Facebook, like, hey, would you want to do it? We want to do it. It's super easy. Super easy. All you got to do is ask. And the only requirement is that you love the Dave Matthews Band. I mean, I'm down to talk to people that don't love them. Of course I am. I have family members that don't like them. But like this show is about what their music has done for your life. And there's just been so many examples, whether it be, you know, the stages of grief after a close death, or cancer, or depression, anxiety, addiction. There's just a long list of things that music has been able to help people get through. And again, I like to say it's a tool to recovery, right? Like it is not, music is not magic. It doesn't heal you, but it is used as a tool to help. And there are things that it actually does to your brain that your brain does not do without it. So the brain literally works different when you're listening to music. And so I'm excited to bring all that science to you. That sounds super nerdy, but again, we just talked about this not too long ago. That's me. I told you from the very beginning, nerd, and I embrace it.
Nerd all day long. Yep.
I know that's what it is. And so, you know, we're just bringing science to music, and we're proving that we're not crazy, that this music really has.
We're not crazy.
People. It's not just words. It's scientifically proven that this is happening. And so we're excited. We're excited about that. And so, yeah, if you want to be on the show, definitely reach out. We're doing some fun things in the next couple weeks. And then 2025 tour will be starting in no time. They're starting in New York. I'm sad that I won't be there, but there's going to be a ton of people that are to celebrate another season with our favorite band, the Dave Matthews Band. I can't believe they're still touring, but I'm so happy that they are. Yeah. I hope they don't stop. I mean, will they stop in my lifetime? Yes, I know that they will.
I don't know. I think Dave, though, I can't see him. I can see him going to the old days.
He probably will, but he is older than me, and so that's why I'm like, during my lifetime.
Yeah, that's gonna be a whole thing. That's gonna be a whole thing.
I don't have him.
We're gonna have like a whole grief support group.
Support groups. Yes, that's exactly what we're gonna. All these groups that are on Facebook now will turn into, support groups for these fans.
We're lucky we're living in a time with the Dave Matthews Band.
We could be living at so many different times, but here we are living at the same time as our favorite band. And so, Jennifer, thank you so much for being open and honest and just sharing your story. I do believe that sharing your story, people sharing their stories in general, really is also helpful to so many people that may be listening to this, that maybe are just thinking about things, had a similar path or some similar problems, and also just reminding people that we're not alone in our pains and in our struggles and in our hangups throughout life. Like, we all do have them, and we all get through them in very different ways. But life is sweet, but short for certain, right? And so let's enjoy every single day. Jennifer, thank you again. Hold tight, guys. If you are listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can watch this whole thing on YouTube. And so it's more of a visual story. So if you want to see Jennifer's pictures that come across as the story is being told, definitely check out the YouTube channel simply under the Space Between Podcasts. Other than that, don't forget to leave a review wherever you get your podcast. Guys, we come out with next episode every week, which will be a different person, a different fan of the Dave Matthews Band. So guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.